And just like that, welcome to the final preview of season 2025 as the Blues and the Bombers are set to take on each other. I feel like I just woke up from a dream in some respect. Like it's been a long season, but it's also gone rather quickly. And there's just something about saying those words. The final preview of 2025. I don't know how I feel about this. On the one hand, I feel relieved. It's been disappointing and, dreadful at times. But at the same time, it's given me something to follow. The footy season really gives me structure and something to follow week to week and something to talk about week to week. And there's something about the certainty of what's to come week to week in terms of where the conversation is going to be and at what point during the week do you start talking about the preview and, if you win, how long do you talk about it? If you lose, how quickly can you move on? But yeah, that's it. This is the final one. And we have a rematch against the Bombers. This was a game after the bye that we won. It wasn't convincing. Looking back now, it was a win. That's what it was. It was also at the MCG. And yeah, there's just so many storylines that emerged that night. There's so much that has happened from that moment. I don't know why I'm getting all emotional and nostalgic all of a sudden. Like I've been looking forward to the end of the season for a good 7 to 8 weeks. I don't know when the right time to review the full season will be, but it just feels like it's all hitting me in the face right now. Another one's about to go. Last week was good for Carlton. I think both teams played relatively well. The Bombers are pretty banged up. The Blues are banged up. Maybe not as much, but also banged up. For the Blues, they definitely are playing with a sense of pride and togetherness. Vossi actually mentioned in his press conference that exact fact. Like the reality for them is they want to finish strong. Their actions are backing up those words. And you can sense this care factor for one another, which I definitely have seen over the last few weeks, really since they announced, Carlton as a club announced that they'd be keeping Vossi. So there is that, and it's just one more opportunity to see another layer of the kids. In isolation, it's one game that doesn't really mean too much, but at the same time, there are so many storylines with young players emerging in their first, 20, 25 games who, are going to need as much experience at the senior level as possible. So now that the pressure's sort of off them where you have to win, they can kind of enjoy themselves, feel the game at the level, and, hopefully it just helps them with their preseason. Really interesting insights that Vossi gave on a number of fronts. First of all, he was asked around, who's unavailable. Cooper Lord will be unavailable. He's got the concussion, so his season will be over, which we knew. But evidently, Lockie Fogarty has a swollen ankle, so he seems doubtful. So you would think that he's not going to play. And then he also mentioned that the guys that didn't play in the VFL were the ones that would be up for selection more so than the ones that did play VFL. So if I think of names in the VFL that didn't play, McGovern didn't play. Ben Camporelli didn't play, although apparently he was still serving one more game of the suspension. So could be a case of a debut with Ben Camporelli if he's fit and ready to go. McGovern could definitely come back, and that might add fuel to the story of it only needing to be a one-game trigger or whatever the case was. Who knows what really happened there. It was reported that he was about to trigger an extension via a clause in his contract. So there's that, but it is a 5-day turnaround for the AFL boys, and it's a 4-day turnaround for the VFL guys. So that might rule out Elijah Hollands, who has quickly just appeared back into the frame of Carlton. And I don't know when the right time to talk about that is, in full, but maybe not right now. I just for the sake of this game, he looks like he's played a couple of games. He could be available, but I don't think they'll pick him based on what Vossi said there. He was also asked some pretty pointed questions around what does the team need, or what does the list need? And he said depth and speed, or speed and ball use, which is no secret either. So yeah, a lot of the language from coming from the club and coming from the fan base and the external is around the change. So I guess once the game's over, we can finally just sort of tick it off, put it to bed, and then I feel like it's going to ramp up. It's not going to quieten down. I don't know if finals time will come around and it'll be quiet for Carlton. It might, but it's going to ramp up pretty quickly. So I'm looking forward to maybe a short rest, like a little pre-finals buy or a pre-trade rumor speculation buy before it ramps up. And we're going to start getting notifications around which staff members are going to be there, assistant coaches, and then pretty quickly it'll be around players. As it stands right now, the noise just doesn't stop. Sammy Edmund wrote an article recently about how the noise about Charlie Curnow won't go away. There's an argument to be made that noise is only being made by the mainstream media. So, yeah, a lot of it is a wait and see. But, at the end of the day, I'm going to the footy on Thursday night because I love the Carlton Football Club and I love going to the footy. And I was reminded of the joy of going to the footy last week. Now, they're not going to win every game and they're not going to play every week the way that they played on Saturday from a margin point of view. But I do think the attitude is important. And if the Carlton team display that attitude for 4 quarters, then the result will kind of take care of itself. I think that's been a realization. And I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but Sam Walsh's post-game language is really important to me. And I think to a lot of people who don't want to hear the fluff. Essentially, in a nutshell, saying, just get your job done, have a no bullshit mentality and focus on what you got to focus on and do it.
Yeah, I think the thing is just we've got to have a sort of no bullshit mentality. Just carry on with the job at hand. As players, worry about the things we need to, and then from there, just try and play good footy. And we've all got our own strengths that we bring to that.
Body feeling all right?
And I think that's important. I think there's an opportunity here for these guys to grow out of their robotic language. I know you got to toe the company line. That's what happens when you represent an entity greater than you. And you got to fall in line and you got to be aligned with what you're saying. But I think there's a real opportunity here to speak to a wider fan base and just simplify the language a bit more. For me, it's a little thing, but I do think it's a big thing. I think it helps when you win games as well. And ultimately, the best language to speak in this context is performing well, and winning games of footy. And that generally quietens down those that you want to quieten down. But yeah, it's been a fascinating ride. Whatever happens on Thursday happens. We'll have our final fan cams session of the year. So I look forward to a late Thursday night session with you all. I look forward to hopefully dominating the game, hopefully enjoying one last game at the MCG with the Carlton theme song playing before the game and after the game. And yeah, that's it. We'll go from there. What comes to mind for you as you sit here and if you're watching this video and you've gotten until this point, what comes to mind for you when the reality kicks in that this is it? This is the final time you will be listening and watching a preview on this channel for a Carlton game. What does that even mean to you? Am I just having a moment, or are you also having a moment? What do you reflect on? There's so much more to come. I look forward to it. And and that's the thing that I've learned over the year, but also over the years. It just doesn't stop. You get mad, you get angry for a moment, you get happy for a moment. It just keeps going. Everything just keeps moving. No matter what happens, everything just continues to move. So we'll see. We'll chat to you in the comments. See you on the team show, and then game day, and then fan cams, and then the review, and then the ratings. And we'll go from there. Go Blues.